So hey, this is the Ben and Gary Show, and we know dentistry. This is, episode number 26. I can't believe it, man. We're just flying through these whole topics here, and we love it when you send your questions. So please send them to us. Continue to send them to us. We love being able to answer them for you. And I figured today one of our concerns that somebody had was very simple. It's just, what is Invisalign? You know, that's a question that we get, a lot of times.
Great question, yeah. A lot
hygiene,
of curiosity about that, yeah.
When we're in there doing our exams, the question always comes up, and then, we always have to kind of go through the same sort of spiel here. Right. So I think this would be a great kind of way for us to be able to share with you what we think Invisalign is, just so you have an idea as to what it actually is. So, what is it, Gary? I guess, we talk about it as the process of wearing some clear aligners that fit over top of your teeth very snugly, that they are removable, and they are designed to be able to gradually straighten your teeth in the process. And people always ask us, like, well, what do they look like? They're these clear, sort of custom little shims
really.
that fit over top of your teeth.
When you wear it, you can't really see them, and it's amazing how invisible they are.
Yeah, no braces, no brackets, no wires, and not all that sort of cumbersome apparatus in your mouth, that can kind of cut your lip or feel uncomfortable in there. And then you have to always worry about, or at least a lot of our patients are worried about, whether or not anybody else can sort of notice it. And the Invisalign process is, and matter of fact, I guess I've gone through it here, and I would talk about it with some of the patients there. And as I'm actually talking about it, they had no idea that my clear aligners were in my mouth until I told them. And so my assistant Carol is actually going through it as well, and she is also a wonderful sort of individual to be able to tell you what it's all about and kind of how it goes. And people really can't believe that you actually have something in their mouth and actually going through this whole sort of process.
So one question that I always get asked is, how long does it take?
How would you rate your experience?
Oh, it's
with
been
this Invisalign?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's so much easier than I imagined, actually.
Excellent. As an adult, do you think it's something other adults could master as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was maybe a little bit hesitant, just not knowing what really to expect. But really, it was a couple days just getting used to the fact that something's in your mouth. But then that goes away very quickly. And, as I was saying before, the calendar just kind of rolls by and you're done before you know it. I mean, the months are going to go whether you do it or not. So why not have done it?
Thanks a lot. I hope you had a great experience. Take care.
Thanks.
How long does it take? And that depends on how complex your case is and what's involved and how much you have to have movement as far as the teeth to get it into the proper alignment.
Yeah, how out of whack are they in the first place? I guess the more out of whack, the longer the treatment is to be able to get them back into a straight position. So at the end of the day, it's kind of, I think we're getting at, it's kind of case by case and patient specific. And even within certain individuals, we never really know exactly how fast or the rate the teeth will move. So we have an idea of what it's going to be. And I guess one of the ways in which we can kind of tell individuals is that, listen, how do we even get started with this? This is a digital plan that is made from a set of pictures and a set of either digital molds or actual physical molds of your teeth that are allowed to be able to enter your teeth sort of as data into the computer model, which then we were able to create along with our direction, and the Invisalign program allows us to be able to create a customized plan for you. And that's when we can really finally understand, better ideas to like how long is it going to take, because the process is each of those sets of aligners that are designed from at the very beginning of all the treatment there, all the aligners that you will need to get you from point A to point B are made in advance. And you're supposed to wear those aligners for 22 hours a day and only take them out to eat. And that you're wearing these for approximately about 2 weeks at a time. So then you switch on to the next aligner. So if you have 10 aligners, we're looking at 20 weeks of time. So that's kind of how we are able to do it, but we're not able to understand what that is or how long it's going to be until you're in this digital plan.
Now, we've also been talking to some of our orthodontic colleagues, and there are certain things that we can do to kind of help speed the process, and we're just delving into that now, but it's called a high-frequency mouthpiece. And that is supposed to help the aligners fit better, which in turn helps to shorten the amount of time that you have to wear the aligners. So things are coming online now that will really help move the process along.
Yeah, and really enhances things, and it's like individuals also want to know, are they a good candidate? And, maybe it also brings up the question is, who's a good candidate? I have to say anybody who doesn't have straight teeth is a good candidate for it. And there are certain movements or certain directions that moving teeth becomes more challenging than others. The good news is that between our knowledge of it, which the training for is actually fairly intense. You have to be certified for it through a whole program, and you also have to have your team members who are also working along to also be certified in the same manner, so that the whole team understands what they're doing. If they're a good candidate, which again is about really just if you have teeth that are not in alignment and you want an improvement, if you think you can actually wear those aligners for that period of time and be compliant with it, then you're a good candidate. Even children are good candidates. My son actually did it at the age of, let's see, what age was he? I think he was about 9 when he started it. And it was sort of the first phase of some orthodontic treatment that's going to be phase 2 later on. But, he had teeth that were flared and had spaces. And all I could think about was that the active young kid he was, that he was going to run his teeth right into somebody else's head or something like that. And all I could think about was having to fix those teeth. And that was going to be something that we were going to be dealing with, he was going to be dealing with for the rest of his life. And anytime you see any chips or breaks or crowns on front teeth, there's always a story, and almost always it doesn't end well. And then you're stuck with whatever the fix is that's going to be chronic for the rest of your life, because we can't turn the clocks back. And that's the problem. So nevertheless, it's certainly a great candidate. He was a great candidate, and he was super compliant. And with kids, they even have a system built into it here where there is I believe, a little blue dot in there. And that blue dot will dissolve or fade out if you've worn them, and it will stay nice and blue if you haven't worn them. So parents, there's a way to be able to kind of can tell if they're wearing it, and there's no fudging it in that sense. So we'll know if they're not wearing them.
Why don't we talk about some common issues that come up that, because one of the questions is, does it close gaps? And so that's one thing that it definitely will do. But what are some of the other questions that we get?
Does it hurt?
Malalignment, cases where your teeth are crooked. Sometimes deep overbites. Those can be very good cases. But basically, there's a wide range of things that people present with that can be corrected. So
particularly, I think it's adults that have had orthodontics before, and guess what they didn't do? They didn't wear their retainers.
Right.
So it's perfect for the adults, because the adults just don't want to go through wearing braces on their teeth, but yet they have a goal of being able to have straight teeth, and they may not necessarily want to have to do a whole line of veneers and crowns to be able to make their teeth appear that way. So I think Invisalign is certainly a great way to be able to get function back in your mouth properly, so that you just have a healthy dentition for the rest of your life.
Well, you just brought up a good point, because once you do your Invisalign treatment and get to the end point, guess what? You get to wear retainers.
Yeah.
So if you don't wear the retainers, then you're going to see some relapse of tooth movement. So it's important that if you go through this process, that you do take the time to wear the retainers. And it may not be the most fun thing in the world, but
good news is, though, you don't have to wear those the same like you did with your aligners. This is really strictly at night. In the beginning, you're going to want to wear. We recommend for you to wear them, pretty much just like you did the aligners for the first month, and then after that, you can kind of taper it off in the evenings or at night when you're just wearing it. But you really need to wear them religiously if you don't want to have teeth to relapse.
Right. Very good.
And I think one last question that people always have is, like, how does this affect my social life? I mean, like, young people, like, if I'm close with someone here, is it cumbersome here? Well, this is the beauty of it. It's not like braces where you kind of lock brackets, potentially if you get that close. You can simply just take it out. And as long as you take it out only for a short period of time, that's usually 2 to 3 hours a day, and you get it back in and wear it consistently from that, you'll be fine. So there's opportunities to make yourself feel more presentable, but the reality is nobody's really looking; they can't see it, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Invisalign's pretty
That's
much
good.
special.
Yeah, it's a very cool system.
And we had one other patient here who referred to it as magic, and I do believe it is like magic. Well, that's all we have time here for us today for the Ben and Gary Show, and We Know Dentistry. We're always looking for your questions, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Episode number 27 coming up next.
All right, let's go Caps.
Exactly.